A 3-1 win at the Lane. The players are in a tunnel. Big matchup for both teams, two big clubs. Aston Villa now playing one division lower. They come to town with Steve Bruce giving them confidence.
They do. Going in there, they'll be enjoying the game. I just wonder after Chelsea's, the atmosphere that was at White Hart Lane against Chelsea, the energy, the passion that they showed, this game coming after, how to motivate themselves, how to get themselves. It's good that a couple of young players have been given the opportunity. But more importantly for the fans, they need to keep involved in this game. But Aston Villa with Steve Bruce, they make it difficult. They've got players that have played at a high level and they'll be looking to enjoy this game.
Mario, what's been the key secret behind Tottenham's success under Pochettino?
I think the belief. He kept on going with them and believing in them. But the most important part for this game especially is, what do you do after making, like you hit the headlines with beating Chelsea, stop there in their tracks, and then you have a game like this. Keep the momentum going, because if not, you won the game for nothing, because then you're back at where you started.
Yeah. What can we expect from Villa, though? They're coming to town, as we just mentioned. They've got confidence. They're playing high in the Championship. Their focus might be on trying to get promotion back into the Premier League.
I think they will sit back and say to something, see if you're good enough. The front two are never going to run you, so you don't have to, back off too much, because you're not worried about pace getting in behind. Pochettino may go with three at the back with the wide players pushing up and have that nice balance in midfield. But again, they can break them up. Agbonlahor, he'll probably sit in that hole in between. Grealish get on the ball, but you can enjoy these games. Their biggest priority is to get back into the Premier League. But going to White Hart Lane, I don't see them going forward and opening it up, because then Tottenham are good enough as any team to pick you off with the players. I think you're better off sitting there saying, Mario, are you good enough to break us down? Because they haven't got the big boys on the field at the moment.
No, but still it's important. Like when you go out there, like you say, for Villa, go enjoy yourself. And that's exactly what Steve Bruce will tell them. He used to tell us too, when we go to a team and we weren't as big as the team that we were facing, he'll say, go out there, enjoy yourself, and just show me what you can do.
It is the FA Cup third round. We're at White Hart Lane for Tottenham Hotspur against Aston Villa. Warren, you think this is a great opportunity for Aston Villa to come and try and play with that confidence and really get a taste of what it's like back in the big leagues. But we'll first get off to the lineups, our four starting lineups, starting with Tottenham.
Yeah, Form is going to get his chance. I mean, we have the experience of Alderweireld with Carter Vickers next to him and Wimmer. And then in the midfield, the guys have been playing quite a bit. I mean, Dyer is one of the focal points. I think it's a young, I like the way he plays anyway as a player. And then up front, guys, Janssen and Song. I mean, Song is the attacking one, but Janssen is the one, the striker that needs the goals. He needs to start really, put himself out there, because if he wants to be a contender to a starting lineup for Tottenham in the league.
Very strong bench as well for Mauricio Pochettino. Let's have a look at Aston Villa, Warren.
Yeah, Steve Bruce got the goalkeeper on loan from Manchester United. Sam Johnson is a steady goalkeeper, good aerial, good distribution. Hutton against his old team. He'll be looking to prove a point, to push forward. Scottish international. Chester, Barker from set pieces, they'll be going forward if they do have the opportunity. Going forward, got nice experience in midfield, but I want Grealish. I'm looking, his career's gone off the rail a little bit. Here's a spotlight for him, the number 40, the young player. He's talented, can get on the ball. And Agbonlahor, he's been there, seen it and done it with Villa. He's had his ups and downs throughout his career, but he understands how important the FA Cup is, and particularly for a club like Aston Villa, is to do well and perform. Ross McCauley on the bench, the Scottish international, he's got 3 goals. So he's got 1 or 2 options, Steve Bruce, but first and foremost, he'll be looking to contain Spurs and keep them at work, keep them at bay a little bit.
You picked on the youngster there, number 40, Jack Grealish. Almost plays the Steve Claridge role with his socks rolled down. He's an orthodox-looking player, but this is a very talented player. Are you surprised that he's still at Villa?
No, because of his behaviour off the field. I think that first and foremost, I think young players at the moment, want to be a professional player but don't want to do the hard work and commitment. Steve will make sure he does that.
He might be the player to open the doors for Aston Villa today.
Yeah, definitely. I saw him at Toulouse during the season, the beginning of the season with Young England. I loved him, the way he came on, the way he bosses the game around. I think now he needs to grow up and show that he's capable to play in the Premier League with the big boys.
Well, the referee Mike Dean is ready for the first half kick. Let's get it out to Martin Fisher and Ian Dowie for the first half call. Enjoy.
The last ever FA Cup tie at this famous old ground, of course. Tottenham We'll be at Wembley next year. And after that, into their new stadium, just to the right of screen. And it's they who get us underway in the traditional white jerseys. Good to see Villa in their traditional claret and blue as well. Jedinak's challenge as Villa look to stop this particular threat from Tottenham. Jedinak played here last season, by the way, when Tottenham went out of the FA Cup to Crystal Palace. He came on as a sub and Palace were 1-0 victors. That's the last time, Ian, that Tottenham failed to score here at White Hart Lane.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't happen today. You just see there with just a little tweak in the formation, you see that Carter Vickers is actually playing right at the 3, and probably rightly so. The best footballer is in the middle. Alderweireld, wonderful ability. Seen it early in the second, ping that ball wide, and Steve Bruce will know that the last person you want in this back 3 to have the ball is Alderweireld. Top class, probably the best centre half in the Premier League as we speak.
It's Kieran Trippier. He and Ben Davis, the two attacking fullbacks today, both rarely get opportunities because Kyle Walker and Danny Rose just do such a good job for Maurizio Pochettino in the Premier League. Here's Son working hard to get the better of Shibola. Sissoko takes over. Jedinak steps in as he does. Picked up by Roberto Di Matteo at the start of the campaign. I'm sure that many Championship clubs were sniffing around him.
A couple of little decent pieces of work early on from Shibola. Very important role they have to play in front of that back 4. And as a young man, 19 years old, what an opportunity it is to make an impression on Maurizio Pochettino. I think he treats everyone fairly. If you do it for him, you know, he makes sure you're staying around the fold. So nice to see some young Tottenham Academy players in and amongst the first team.
Forward by Dyer. Trippier unable to bring it under his spell. Yes, Cameron Carter-Vickers, 19, is actually an under-23 international for the USA. His father is American, and he was actually called up to the senior squad last November. So highly rated with his club and in the international fold.
When you look at the two sides, and Villa have invested heavily in the summer, you've got to say, and then you're looking at the likes of, as you say, Janssen, but more importantly for Sissoko, that ball they try and get to him. You know, he did have 2 or 3 really impressive games in the summer. You wonder if he can just get that, the penny drops, because he's got so much potential, but as of yet you really haven't seen that.
Back by Wimmer, the Austrian international. Michel Vorm's first touch. Meeting between these sides in this competition. Spurs have won 6, Villa 4, just the 1 draw.
Just interesting there tactically. You look at Shibola pushing on there. He's stopping. You know, they're not really happy with Spurs passing it around the back, making them sort of go a bit longer if they can.
Sissoko. And those long legs gliding over the turf.
You know, where people talk about what he can and cannot do and what he is, but when he's in full flow, it's very impressive. You know, I mean, this is wonderful play, brushes aside people, and then he just switched with the ball, puts on the afterwards. I think there's a foul in there. It's not given, but definitely Jedinak makes a foul there for me. There's a clip. Right, he goes down a bit belatedly, but for me there is a clip on him. Good start from Sissoko.
So far, he hasn't quite lived up to his billing. Moussa Sissoko signed on deadline day for £30 million just to strengthen the squad, but Maurizio Pochettino himself was expecting him to make more of a case for putting him in on a regular basis in the Premier League. He's only started 6 Premier League games. Steve Bruce, who knows a lot about this competition, of course, has won it 3 times as a player. Also took Hull City to the final in 2014. And here come Aston Villa down this near side with Albert Adoma. Davis getting back and clearing.
I mean, therein lies the essence, I think, what Pochettino's brought to Spurs. You know, there's no doubt they've got wonderful, fluent, creative players, but that work ethic when they lose the ball, you see Davis busting the gut. You don't see people give the ball away and then not try to get it back. You know, people talk about transition. I don't think there's any better side in transition than Spurs. Real work ethic.
Amavi. Bringing it back from Bakuna. Too strong for Agbonlahor. Steve Bruce feels that Gary Agbonlahor has just rediscovered his hunger for the game, Ian. Lost his way badly last year.
Yeah, I'm sure some of that was the way he was being managed, but also some of that was in the player's head. Got Steve Bruce, I think, a fairly straight-talking individual. I think he's focused the mind, you know, and Gabby needs to get amongst the goals. I mean, in lots of ways, last year sort of tarnished his reputation at Villa. I mean, he was an idol there. So, you know, maybe if he can get a few goals and push on and get him in and involved with the playoffs, I think that's a big stretch. And maybe Gabby will warm the hearts of all them Villa fans. No doubt on his day he's an incredible player. Looks a bit slimmer than he did a little in terms of, I mean muscle bulk. Looks like he's trimmed that down a bit, because pace-wise there's not too many quicker than him.
Here's Weeks for Tottenham. Davis. Tottenham looking to close him down. Wimmer. Alderweireld. Dyer. Trippier to the right. There's Winks. Janssen offering himself. Winks with the diagonal, looking for Trippier far side. Missed by Bakuna.
A nice shape about Villa, you know, although Spurs have a lot of possession, you don't see that ability to get penetrated that easy. It's almost a 4-5-1 really. We thought Grealish would, certainly when they attack, drop into a hole behind Bongo, but when he defends he's in a flat three along either side with Bakuna and Adoma. So not easy to break down. It's going to have to be a patient afternoon for Spurs, you'd suggest.
There's the building work being done just behind the Paxton Road end of the ground. It'll be ready the season after next. Next season, Tottenham's home games will be at Wembley.
You're telling me you quite fancy the driving one then, Crane's a bit too high for me, that line.
We'll head for heights. Trippier getting it back from Sissoko. The early ball in, looking for Janssen. Just got his head to it, but the flag has been raised anyway.
Not an easy ball to put in first time. He does it really well, Trippier, but I think Janssen just a yard or two offside. I like Janssen, struggled to settle in a little bit. Good work ethic, got pace, you know, runs in behind, and very good at linking play. Just needs that goal, I think, to kick-start his Spurs career in terms of open play.
Never lost in the third round of the FA Cup, Mauricio Pochettino. Having said that, he's not been involved in the competition for that long. It's lost in the fifth round in his first season for Southampton, fifth round last year with Spurs, the fourth round the year before that. Daniel Levy, watching from his seat upstairs, his expression never seems to change.
No, run the club very well. I mean, I've heard some commentators talk about Man City, Chelsea and Liverpool being the ones in box seats. I'm not so sure. I think Spurs are right in there, and that only was further confirmed by their wonderful display in a very tight game. It wasn't they were that much better than Chelsea, but they found a way to win the game. Huge lift for everyone. You know, next year at Wembley, this maybe would, how well, almost weird would it be that they win the Premier League title in the last season. That would be quite incredible at White Hart Lane. A wonderful stadium, one of the best, but the new one looks very exciting.
Currently 7 points behind leaders Chelsea, but they are very much a team in form. And maybe last season's experience of taking Leicester right until the last few fixtures of the season might help them, because they did blow up rather towards the end, just 2 points in the last 4 games. It looked as though they might well catch Leicester, but Leicester ploughed on and Tottenham just lost their way, and lost their way big time across London against Chelsea.
Well, that man in the middle of that back three, I think, has got a lot to do with that. When he plays Alderweireld, they're very effective. A threat in both boxes, really good defensively. Wonderful pass to the ball as well. That gets goals. He's a very important player. Just like Michael Carrick, when Alderweireld plays for Tottenham, they don't often lose.
As part of this season, of course, with a knee injury. Very much back in the fold now. Here's Carter Vickers. Trippier, almost tripping himself up.
Incredible, you're thinking he couldn't get a game for Atletico Madrid, and, you know, I mean, they were a good defensive unit.
Here's Davis. Janssen down to Son, looking for Davis, but Chester shuts the door. Look how many claret and blue shirts are there just in front of that penalty area. Steve Bruce will have been working them hard this week, Ian, on the training ground, because from all accounts, Cardiff on Monday, they put in a very sorry display again. Second time in their last 3 away from home. They were poor at Norwich and lost, poor at Cardiff and lost, and just get the sense that Steve's patience with some of his players is beginning to wear thin.
Yeah, I think it is. And, you know, when you think about the sum of the acquisitions, you think about Kodja and, as you say, McCormack, you think, they had Gusted at the time, Ayew, had Bonlahor, you know, you thought there'd be goals in the team. It just hasn't turned out. And really, you know, Kodja's done quite well, but apart from that, it hasn't been enough. I don't think there's been enough pace or invention in their attacking play. So Steve will have to find a way to rejig his squad. I think that's why Gusted's moved on. Maybe that'll release some more funds. Definitely needs freshening up for me.
Davis has got away from Adoma. Into the feet of Janssen. Protecting it well and firing the crossover. Defended back post by Amavi.
You know, when the scouts from Spurs went to see Janssen at AZ Alkmaar, I guarantee one thing they say: if he gets that ball on his left foot, he's really very, very dangerous. He's got a wonderful left foot, one of the best I've seen. Some of the goals he scored with that left peg, half volleys the ball magnificent, and there drilled a crossover, fantastic. Thought it was out of nothing, little turn. If anything on the move, it's a tap-in.
Grealish just clipped by Son. Picking up the former Tottenham man, Alan Hutton. 3 years here, but made about 50 or 60 appearances. Chester under pressure. Which way he turned, there was a white jersey there. Chester, who once scored in an FA Cup final for Hull City, scored after 4 minutes in that one in 2014 when Steve Bruce was his manager. Curtis Davis added the second. Hull were 2 up inside 8 minutes, but Arsenal reined them in and went on to win the cup. Carter Vickers. This touch came off Grealish. Spurs throw.
You think about the job that he's done, amazing. Look around him, you know, taking Dele, that man in the back, his game. I think he's taken Dele's game to another level, as has Dele himself. You know, I thought he was wonderful at MK Dons, but there's not too many vet in the world football what he does now. So Spurs keeping hold of him for many more years is very, very important.
7 goals in his last 4 appearances. And 3 doubles in his last 3. Both here against Chelsea on Wednesday. And he will have wanted to play today, wouldn't he?
Oh, desperate. I'm sure he knows. But, you know, I think it's clever management. I mean, it's still a very, very powerful Spurs side. You know, you think about the people who make changes. Eddie Howe, I thought, made a lot of changes. You know, when the difference between good movement.
Bonlahor, he's got goal side of Alderweireld. Dyer is there to mop up. Trippier looks long. Spurs look to turn defence into attack, but Baker wins the free kick.
Well, it's a very clever piece of movement. You know, he ran off the back of Alderweireld, got goal side of him. His initial first touch a little bit heavy. It's a good ball. He needs a bit of support. I mean, if they're going to play that ball, they've got to get the likes of Grealish, got to get the likes of Adoma, got to get the likes of Bakuna in and around the box. No one there, and in the end, a good ball turned into nothing.
Sissoko penalised on this occasion. Well, First part of Steve Bruce's game plan would have been keep it tight for the opening 15 minutes or so. Well, they've passed that test. Had one little foray forward themselves. And so far, Sam Johnson in the Villa goal. It's had a very comfortable afternoon.
Yeah, he certainly has. I hope this continue for the rest of the game, but there's that man. You know, you think about that Chelsea game and he gets two. Was there a player in the Chelsea ranks that had that? You know, they've lost that Frank Lampard. He makes that run beyond. It's the timing of the runs. It's a unique art, and he's got it fantastically well. And there's not much he can't do. Aggressive, great technically. I like that he plays on the edge. I think he's got that. He's got these little switch that goes sometimes. You know, that sometimes you need that as a top player. So he's getting the afternoon off, and I think he'll be thankful he is.
It's Wimmer for Spurs. Davis had just gone a fraction too early, much to Adoma's relief as he put his arm up. Flag hadn't got up at that stage.
I think once or twice Steve Bruce has been able to stick back not to allow Alderweireld too much time on the ball. I think he's a very, very close one. Can't see it with the post being in the way, but I think that's quite a brilliant ball. But that's what he's very, very good at. I've been at White Hart Lane certainly end of last year, and some of his passing is exemplary.
Vickers to head away. That's Adoma. Shibola came from Reading in the summer. Hutton.
You talk about that acquisition period that Villa had in the summer. It's Tommy Elphick sitting on the bench here. You know, you thought Chester, Shibola, good core of proper centre. You know, in terms of good professionals. It hasn't quite worked out for Tommy Elphick. You thought that was a really good piece of visit. I'm sure it may well do.
Here comes Tottenham. It's Harry Winks leading it forward. Janssen, first touch too heavy, was being put under pressure by Jedinak. And just that mere presence of the big Australian maybe just caused the error.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest ball from Winks. Sort of popped it in a bit pacey at him. He just wanted to leave it his path on his left side. I think he was looking to get a strike away, but heavy first touch. I like the look of Winks. He's got a bit of mobility about him. Good little change of pace we've seen already in a little tussle with Shibola.
To Vickers conceding the free kick. Big sturdy lad for 19. He's been at Tottenham since the age of 11. So Grealish and Amavi, the two over this. Can Aston Villa taste joy with a set piece? Grealish with the delivery. Hutton is trying to get round the back. Davis with the clearance, and Villa get the corner.
Yeah, I think that's a good bit of drilling from Pochettino. He's obviously seen a little set piece. Hutton coming late. Ben Davies aware of that, defended it really well.
And he's drilled his team big time this week in terms of keeping their shape, because they will know they'll be coming under great pressure from Tottenham today. How much work have they done with their own set pieces? Grealish to take their first corner. Fulham stayed at home. Dyer got his head to it, but was being fouled by Baker.
Really good delivery, I've got to say, from Grealish. Puts it right on the money, just what a sort of head high, just inside the penalty spot. Really good ball. There it comes. Perfect area.
Son, well defended by Chester. Steady presence at the heart of that Aston Villa defence. Towards Agbonlahor.
You know, you think about how they've looked, you know, in this game so far. Defence, you look a real solid unit. 7 goals away, and you just can't win enough games with that. It's got to be a real concern, particularly the players that have available. If Steve Bruce can, you know, crack that conundrum, I think it's going to be a fantastic end to the season. I still think they're too far away to challenge, but if he can get them going, who knows?
Yeah, currently they're 17 points behind the automatic places, but in terms of the playoffs, it's 7. If you get a run going in the Championship, that can quickly be eaten up. Here's Son for Tottenham, though. Winks for Davis. Now Janssen. Chester has come across, and again able to clear the immediate danger. Dyer. Wimmer. Winks. Grealish doing the harrying. And Winks winning the free kick.
Well, it's a really silly foul. I think it was in the end. I think it was Jack Grealish stuck a leg out. He's lost the ball, Winks. He's put it into the path of Hutton here. You can clearly see it. Here, the big heavy touch. He's never going to get that. And they bring him down when Hutton's going to clear the ball. Dangerous situation.
It's that kind of indiscipline, isn't it, Ian? They've done the first part of that really well.
It is incredible, you know, them little bits of lack of discipline, crucial moments. You think about the likes of Alderweireld attacking this. He's a mark. He'll be running, he'll be making, as always, what he does, that front post run. He's very good at it.
Right, Dean keeping an eye on what's going on in the middle, and it's a punch that takes it out of play by Sam Johnson.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Decent punch, but I do think at times, you know, that's one he should collect in his palms.
Yeah,
no pressure.
The rain teeming down now at White Hart Lane. Trippier. Spurs dominant of the ball. 70-30 in their favour. Possession stat. That's the kind of figure we'd be expecting.
Well, as I was saying to you before the game, I think it was 85% Liverpool against Plymouth. But Plymouth have got a little trip back to home park to bring Liverpool back down there. Wonderful result in the end.
Big earner for the Devon club. Well in League Two, but just a dream for them to play a club of Liverpool's magnitude. Free kick has been given here for the challenge on Janssen. It didn't look as though he just lost possession of the ball, but he was clipped as he laid it off.
Yeah, I think just a little bit late from Jedinak. Yeah, doesn't foul.
So far, no real joy down either side for Tottenham. Either Trippier on that far side or Davis on this near side, but Villa have to stay focused. This is Winks with the delivery, away by Chester. Trippier.
Yeah, we've seen very little of Sissoko, Son or Janssen as yet.
This is Son and now Janssen. Back for Dyer, checking what's available initially to the left before picking out Winks. Winks for Davis. Showed too much of that to Adoma, but Sissoko can come again. Now Dyer. It's just too far for Trippier.
Tried the running behind, really wants to run across, but not the best ball from Dyer. But better last 3 or 4 minutes. The tempo of the passing's picked up a little bit from Tottenham.
Played on New Year's Day, Kieran Trippier. A 4-1 victory at Watford. Steve Bruce more than pleased with the way things are going at the moment.
Got a couple of wonderful balls in there as well. Trippier 1.5 volley, sensational ball that Harry Kane ended up, I think, stabbing into the net. Wonderful ball in, really difficult technique, chance.
Sissoko has released Dyer. Janssen has come short again. Son stays in the box. Janssen surrounded by claret and blue jerseys, but has done well to reclaim it. I suppose we'll have to start again. Promising for a moment there. Moving the ball a bit quicker this time. It's Dyer. Trippier with paint on the back of his boots as he hugs that far touchline. Carter Vickers. Here's Davis. Spurs have won 8 of their last 9 games against Aston Villa. Did the double against them last season. 2-0 at Villa Park and then 3-1 here. No breakthrough as yet though, no shot on goal yet for either team. Here's Winks. Davis. Hasn't been able to get in behind Adoma as yet. Winks were looking for Trippier, who has drifted in between the goalkeeper and Amavi, but that's a confident take from the goalkeeper.
Well, what Villa have done really well is stop easy balls into the likes of Son, Sissoko and Janssen. It's not been easy, you had to force it in there. As a result, they've restricted Tottenham to a lot of possession in around that last 40 yards, but they haven't been able to penetrate that last 20.
How can Sissoko do better here? He's linked up with Son. Only Janssen in a white shirt ahead of him. The South Korean might go alone here. Good tackle by Baker. The pressure is still on. Headed away though by Jedinak. Grealish needs to be careful there under pressure from Dyer. Amavi. A bit fortunate.
Sloppy ball from Amavi, end up Jedinak half cleared it, but they're back on the attack. Spurs starting to build a little bit of momentum here.
Trippier's delivery. Baker stabs away. Grealish did well to win the free kick. Just knew what was coming. Problem here for Bakuna. Back on the pitch. I don't think Spurs will be too happy with that. To receive the pass and Alderweireld across. Free kick given against Agbonlahor.
Didn't need to do that. It was a difficult situation where the, Vorm's going to have to clear the ball. Charging to his back.
Good defending by Nathan Baker as Spurs look to penetrate that Villa penalty area for the first time this afternoon. Baker, another one that Steve Bruce has been impressed with over the last month or so, forced his way back into the reckoning after losing his spot under Roberto Di Matteo.
I think if he gets rid of that, he's a youthful man still. I just feel at times he's a little bit rash. He made the odd, wrong decision or a poorly judged tackle in the penalty area. If he gets out of his game, and that will happen as he develops and matures, I think he's got everything. He attacks the ball really well in both boxes. I know he benefited a little spell at Bristol City, didn't he? So that was a very important move for him.
And Agbonlahor, Jedinak. Left is Bakuna. Amavi to his left. This is Grealish. And it's comfortable for Vorm. It counts as a shot on goal from Leandro Bakuna.
It was a long way out, 35 yards there, not going to beat Vorm with a curler from there, for sure.
Scored on Boxing Day in the victory over Burton. Bakuna, his first of the season. Son offside.
Again, good discipline, good organisation, kept a nice high line. Although Jedinak was tracking him, allowed him to run beyond the line. Picked up the cheap offside. Once again, Marvey there, sloppily giving the ball away.
I think Steve Bruce is saying to him there, it's not on, that pass.
Absolutely. Big shouts about him moving on for big money. I haven't quite seen that as yet.
He signed from Nice last season for £9 million, had a bad knee injury last season, but he's been linked with a £25 million move now then. Whistler's gone for the challenge on Adoma. The referee just delayed that.
Well, it's a really poor lack of advantage for Mike Dean. He's been in the spotlight, for rightly overturned the red card for me. But, it's definite foul. If he just lets it run on, he gets a really fortunate bobble that takes Hutton free, and he's in on goal, really. Steve not happy, I think.
He's not disguised his displeasure at that decision. But if they score from this free kick, he won't be complaining too much. Let's see what Aston Villa can do. 30 minutes gone at White Hart Lane. Pretty stodgy FA Cup ties so far, but that's inevitable given the fact that Villa are just happy to soak up pressure and try and frustrate Spurs. This is where they will try and grasp the opportunity.
You've got to bend it in there with pace, you know, whip it in. Not like the...
It will be Grealish to whip it in. Decent delivery too. Doma tries to keep it alive. Up goes Baker. Chester was in there as well. May have just got in each other's way. The last man is Hutton. Carefully picks out Grealish. Villa can come again. Still 1 or 2 forward from the earlier free kick. Flicked away by Alderweireld. Only as far as Bakuna here. Shibola. Every Villa player that gets it, I think the Villa fans up the other end are saying shoot. Maybe not a Doma on the right wing. Grealish. He can hit them.
Yeah, nice delivery initially. Better from Villa. He should really, I mean, it's an opportunity. He should keep it down, leaning back. Just drifts away from him, slashed across it.
Sissoko trying to get goal side of Amavi. He manages to win the free kick. Shoulder to shoulder there.
Not too many people have the pace to say with him. Amavi does. That's what people are looking at, that blistering pace. But for me, his intensity defensively needs to be a lot higher. Gets really good position. And in the end, it is a foul. Well, Sam Johnson will be hoping all these 30 minutes he has to be like that.
He needs to keep a clean sheet when you don't have a shot to save. By Jedinak. Grealish dumped to the turf, and it's dire for Spurs.
I mean, this will be pleasing for Steve Bruce. Last 4 or 5 minutes, grown into the game, 1 or 2 opportunities, but in some ways that's almost the danger. He's sucked into committing bodies forward, and then the pace on the counter-attack and the slick passing moves, the likes of Sissoko and Son and Janssen, can hurt you very easily.
Spurs won't mind at all if it becomes more of an open contest. Gaps might open up the other end. And they've got their shape back together again now, though. Alderweireld. Wimmer. Diagonal looking for Trippier, who's got in behind Bakuna. Has forced the corner.
Yeah, initially sloppy, but then recovered really well.
Good delivery. Actually flicked off Dyer at the end.
I think it's a really good opportunity for Alderweireld. I think he misses it, but then it surprises Dyer because it misses Alderweireld's head. But that near post run again, cheap giveaway once again from Bakuna.
Good tackle by Trippier, and he wants it back from Son. So far, Steve Bruce and Aston Villa succeeding where others that have visited White Hart Lane have failed big time. Keeping Spurs at arm's length.
Yeah, I think what might need to happen here for Spurs is, you're looking at Wimmer one side and Carter Vickers. You've got to maybe join in so you get 2v1 in wide areas. At the moment, they're just having, Bakuna and Adoma tracking back against the one wide man in each area, and that's too comfortable at the moment. So the Dome is dealing with Davis on one side, and it's exactly the same on the other. Trippier's been trapped by Bacuna, but if you can get one of the other centre halves, the wide centre half join in, you may get a bit more 2v1 and a bit more joy.
It's 2 games since Spurs last failed to score in front of their own supporters. Nearly a full year. It was last February when they went out of the FA Cup here to Crystal Palace.
Well, there have been a few big shots in Bournemouth yesterday. I mean, Arsenal on the verge of it, really should have been out of the game at half-time. But Villa have come with a very good defensive plan. Jedinak and Tishbola have done a really good job, as have Adoma and Bacuna wide. I mean, they've worked hard at it. They haven't really possessed any quality going forward. But defensively, the shape's been very good.
Davis. Winks. Son, Davis. Janssen under pressure from Baker. Sissoko. Davis on the overlap. And he's onside and he fires it over. And it's away by Hammerby.
Well, I was looking at Janssen's movement there. He made it a run towards the back post and then the ball got cut back. But nice link-up play, better, quicker, intricate passing.
It's got the home support excited. They've been pretty quiet so far. Winks for Davis. Sissoko. Vickers venturing forward. Son. Villa. Sissoko. Son. Now Winks. Forward by Trippier. Janssen.
Another good piece of movement from Janssen. Just didn't quite get the end product.
Here's Grealish for Villa. And Bacuna. Vickers just taking a moment to do up his bootlace. 6 minutes of this first half. So far, so good from an Aston Villa perspective. Frustrating afternoon for Tottenham Hotspur.
No, enough invention for me. I mean, there's a lot of this. Passes not been quick enough, not been enough disturbing runners. That means like a Son going beyond, a Sissoko going beyond, even the wide men in Trippier and Davies going beyond. Hasn't been enough of that. Sam Johnson been very comfortable. The shape's been good. You know, the onus is on Spurs. It'll be a wonderful achievement for this side, Villa side, to take Spurs back, and that's the last thing probably they want to do, given that they've got Europa League and such like coming up.
Hasn't blown a whistle yet, the referee. Winks thought that he would. Now, no, still no whistle. And Davis brings it forward. He's picked out Janssen and gone for the return. Davis against Hutton. Does the best that he can manage there, because there was nobody really bursting a gut to get into the penalty area for him, so he's managed to win the corner.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about, to be fair. Janssen did the link-up play very nicely. Good ball into the box. He looks up and there's no one in the middle. You know, that's where Son needs to be coming in, and Trippier. A little bit disappointing, you know, in terms of the attacking threat from Spurs thus far.
Corner taken short. Davis with the delivery. Helped on its way by Jedinak. Son. Too strong again, the diagonal ball.
Yeah, you've got to say, defensive discipline of, you know, Bacuna and Adoma, both sides have been good. They have tracked them runs.
Brian Little, former Aston Villa player and manager, now involved behind the scenes, flanked by Ian Taylor, who will have played in the cup final for Villa in 2000 when they were beaten by Chelsea.
Yeah, good run around, big presence in midfield in Taylor.
Both of them massive Villa fans. I've been around Brian a lot over the last 4 or 5 years or so, and thrilled to bits to be back involved at Villa Park, albeit in troubled times.
Yeah, and it's important to have that link to the football side of it in and around the board for me. I mean, they all do it abroad. We don't seem to do it as much here. It's very important that we do that, and hopefully can get turnaround. For me, I like the setup of the shape defensively. Don't think anyone's got an issue with that. Steve Bruce, very good at doing that. The other issue is in the Championship, can they go and brush sides, you know, effectively, creatively and goal scoring wise aside? At the moment they can't.
Yeah, they're unbeaten at home this season, but far too many draws at home. Haven't been able to put teams away at Villa Park. Here's Son, nice turn, looking for Janssen, and Son might get in here. Amavi got the last touch and very nearly put it into his own net.
Yeah, nice link-up play again from Janssen. It's a lovely little return pass, little deflection on it. Oh, that could so easily have flown in the net. He just jabs it with his left foot, look. Ooh.
It's probably the closest we've come to a goal so far. Nearly an own goal. Davis with the corner, a deep outswinger. Well, Vickers couldn't quite get enough purchase on the header back across. A bit of a let-off for Aston Villa, but on the strength of their performance and their discipline, you'd suggest that they deserve that little break.
Yeah, they've been very, very good. I mean, there's no lack of a team ethic here. Everyone's doing their job. There's Tispola. Good play from Adoma, showing him inside, runs on to Tispola, who pinches the ball. It's been a feature, you know. Tispola and Jedinak have done a really effectively and quietly a very good job.
Sliced into touch by the 19-year-old Carter Vickers.
I also think, you know, in terms of the expectation of the ground, everyone's coming up expecting. I mean, Spurs beat Chelsea and they're going to roll Villa over. That just doesn't happen. You know, they've come up against a very well organised, well disciplined Villa side, and at the moment Tottenham haven't had enough to break them down.
Grealish turning into trouble. Son leaves it for Dyer. He can go right, and he has, for Janssen. Has to just check to his favoured left foot. Being pushed away by Jedinak, and he's done well, the Australian. And Grealish can plonk it forward and invite Agbonlahor to chase. Pretty much on his own, the veteran forward. Well, I say veteran, he's only 30, but he's been part and parcel of Aston Villa for so long.
Well, I've got to say, I thought that was a corner there. Mike Dean, clearly by his face, you see, he stops it on the line here. I think he flicks it against. No, it definitely touches it. Incredible that he doesn't get that right.
Davis for Spurs. Spurs look to finish the first half strongly. It's a throw rather than a telling cross. It's Dyer. Possession rather than the game, I have to say. Now Wimmer.
You might be right on both counts.
Well, bang on time, Mike Dean says that'll do it.
Martin, Ian, thank you. So Tottenham dominating possession, but unable to find the back of the net through 45 minutes. We've got highlights from today's FA Cup action coming up next.
Bench to give them some experience and some talented players there. But the ones are out there, particularly Jensen and some, have not really linked in as they would do. And they've been a bit static, and that's why Marriott easy to mark.
On paper, I mean, Tottenham should finish this game off. But Villa, I mean, I know how Bruce is thinking. Hey, keep yourself in the game as long as you can, and then try to nick a goal in any set piece or whatever you can. And you can see, I mean, you can see how much pressure he's taking with him. He's very relaxed at this game because he knows that stay in the game and we'll come.
And I think it just shows you how Danny Rose and Walker are so vital when you play three at the back to give you that genuine width to call Steve Bruce's back line a problem.
All right, here's Martin Fisher and Ian Dowie for the second half call.
Told. So Aston Villa from the Championship, relegated of course after that dreadful campaign in the Premier League last year. It's Villa who get us back underway. They're 12th in the Championship at the moment, and their away form has really held them back from making a concerted effort, a real surge up the Championship table. That is what Steve Bruce hopes to achieve between now and the end of the season, early May. 7 points outside the playoffs as we enter 2017. It can be done, but there's an awful lot of other clubs to get over for them to achieve it. Under away by Amavi, who was the closest to scoring in the first half, almost put through his own goal. He's got to get after Janssen here. Dutchman has got to it first, now looking for support. Able to turn on that left foot, finds Son. The shot's on here for Janssen. Safely gathered by Johnston, but that's better from Spurs.
Yeah, better from Janssen. I've got to say, the quality of his left foot, it's a really clever pass through the legs here. And then it sits up. I fancied him to curl that in that far corner. Decent opportunity, that.
As we were saying earlier, all of his goals this season, he's only scored 3 for Spurs, but all of them have been penalties. Only one of those in the Premier League. That came here against Leicester. Had a bit of a run out when Harry Kane had that ankle problem earlier in the season.
Yeah, you've got to say, in terms of the front three, I mean, he's been the best of them, Janssen. You know, we haven't really seen enough of Sissoko outside one run. We haven't seen anything of Son. But I think this is half the reason why he's made as many changes, Pochettino. You know, them big games like Chelsea was mentally very draining. So I think if you then play again 4 days later with almost the same 11, you can get injuries. So I think he's given the opportunity. He said, here we go. Lads are doing great. Can you show me something to improve at the moment? There's not too many are going to be in the side. Outside maybe Dyer and Alderweireld come Saturday.
Yeah, Harry Kane getting the day off completely. Dele Alli is amongst the subs, so he's available for the Argentine if he chooses to bring him on. Johnston forced to find touch under some pressure there. He will have expected a much busier afternoon than he's had so far. But sometimes it can be a problem for goalkeepers when they've had nothing to do, just to stay properly focused, because when the shot does come their way, they've got to be ready for it.
Well, I mean, Steve's made a bit of a statement there, bring him in straight in the team. I think he'll probably become the number one. Steve's clearly not been happy with one or two areas. The goalkeeper's been one of them.
Trippier for Dyer. Blocked by Jedinak.
And he was a few quid, the other one, Galini, wasn't it?
Yeah, Galini cost best part of 5 million from Hellas Verona in the summer. It's been their regular first choice, but he's dropped more than a few wickets during the season.
Decision making, a lot of them for me. It's interesting to see.
Here's Janssen. Pick out Davis. Son has turned it to Sissoko. He has a chance to cross. By Bakuna. Off goes Agbonlahor. It'd be interesting if he manages to last the distance, Gabby Agbonlahor.
Well, he's made 1 or 2 decent runs, hasn't had a lot of service, been a bit isolated with the amount of possession that Spurs had, but his movement's been okay.
Grealish. Wins the free kick off Son. Here's Hutton. Slap pass, it was behind the Doma, and now he's temporarily out of position. Spurs toss it away aimlessly themselves. And it's Bacuna for Aston Villa. Adoma with a bit of time. Hutton is ahead of him. Adoma with the cross. Just beyond Agbonlahor. Bacuna will keep it in though. And will force a throw off Trippier. Here's Grealish.
I think Grealish was looking for either Bacuna or Amavi to run him behind. He didn't, he just stood still.
Shibola. Going to spell this for Aston Villa. Like Jonathan Kodja, Albert Adoma will be with Villa during January and early February. He's not been selected for Ghana for their Africa Cup of Nations campaign. Here's Grealish with a chance to lift one in.
The last thing that Steve had wanted, to be fair, Kodja's one of the successes really.
9 goals this season for them. Grealish. Up the far side ignored. This is Chester. Oh, he's in danger of losing it there. Villa get a little bit fortunate. Rolls for Hutton now. Grealish, and Villa can come again. Shibola. Now Agbonlahor. Away by Davis. Sissoko. Son. Chester backpedaling. Winks looking right. Width provided by Trippier. Janssen and Son both want this. It will reach Son. Will it sit for him? Headed away by Chester.
Well, it fell really kindly for him, I've got to say. He didn't take advantage of it, really poor. You know, technique in the end, just bobbles it, hits it into the ground, gets it all wrong, tries to hit it with his left foot across the goal. It sort of goes straight into the path. Decent ball from Trippier. It's offside, definitely from Janssen. It's not given. But this, obviously, he goes to hit it across the goal, gets it all wrong. Really should do better. It's not the most difficult technique. Just gets it on his instep.
This time last season, Spurs drew here to Leicester before winning the replay at the King Power by a couple of goals to nil when Son was amongst the scorers. Haven't lost a third round tie that often recently, just once in the last 10 years. One that they will not want to remember, it was against Arsenal in 2014. Carter Vickers for Dyer. Alderweireld.
Brilliant again.
Found Sissoko. Held up by Hutton. Davis to swing it in. But again, Villa get bodies in the way, and Adoma can bring it away. And on he goes. Shibola. Here's Jedinak. Grealish. Showed too much of it to Winks. Two youngsters battling for centre stage in White Hart Lane this afternoon. Winks can carry, pick out Son. He's gone for the return. And he's managed to stay onside. Janssen's in the box. Sissoko too, cut out by Chester.
Yeah, lots to admire in that from Harry Winks. Not only does he rob Grealish far too easy in my opinion, but then he shows a good turn of pace. Lovely little give and go, and I've got to say what's nice about it, when he got played in down the side, heads up, he tried to pick out Sissoko. All right, he didn't quite get the pass there. He didn't just put the ball into the box, looked up, you have a little look, he glances Good little, lovely little ball here. You watch him, he takes a touch. Now he's looking again. He tries to pick out Sissoko. All right, it's well read by Chester, but intelligent play. He's done well today, Harry Winks.
Well, very proud of him in these parts. Made his debut a couple of years ago. England under 21 international. Regularly makes the only 18 this season. 11 times he's come off the bench in the league.
Good work from Mabongahor, but just no backup, you know. He chased that ball for 40, 50 yards. Someone else has got to help him. All of a sudden, it's an easy pass. Sloppy giveaway from Ben Davies. A couple of them balls in a row. Managed to recover, though.
Dyer slow to get back to his feet, but it looks as though he'll be OK to carry on.
You think about Dele Alli. He's probably crying out for him, but yeah, my view is it's not really one of them things you want to pitch him in this early. It's, you know, you'd be thinking the last 10 minutes if you have to. But he also doesn't probably want to replay.
It's cut out easily by Adoma. Chirola. Hutton getting further forward than he has done much of the afternoon. Long from Winks. Janssen after it.
He's done well.
He's done well to find a cross from there. Bakuna down towards Amavi, who can clear. I don't think anybody, or many in white, anticipated him keeping it in.
He's on that left foot again, managed to wrap his foot round it. Now he's shown willing today, he's worked very hard. He's tried to lead the line up and had a great deal of support from around him. There's a one opportunity just from seconds into the second half, but it's not an easy opportunity, that.
Sissoko. Carter Vickers for Trippier. A good omen for Spurs if they can beat Villa. They've gone on to win the cup 4 times when they've got the better of Aston Villa in the earlier rounds. First ever FA Cup tie between these two was won by Aston Villa way back in 1903. Well, can't say that we're too surprised to see that man get ready to come on the hour mark or there or thereabouts. Dele Alli, no breakthrough. Bring the goal machine on to proceedings.
Yeah. Goal-scoring midfield asset. Alderweireld makes his way forward, also goal-scoring centre-half.
Trippier to take. Out swinger. As Janssen who got his head to it.
Looks like it may well be. I didn't quite see it. There's a good head on it. It definitely is a corner. Headers it onto Baker. I mean, in my view, I don't envisage that Pochettino thought about bringing Dele Alli on after an hour here. I think the last thing he wanted to do was bring him on. I mean, he's up there as with Lloris as one of the most important players, if not the most important player in the team. Him and Kane and Lloris and Alderweireld, I would suggest, probably the 4 most important players. But he's going to come on. Of course he's a useful man, but nonetheless you wouldn't want to use him this early.
He's kind of the insurance policy, isn't he, really, to get you over the hurdle, and it's quite a hurdle that Aston Villa have produced today so far.
Yeah, and Jedinak and Chispola we think of, particularly Jedinak we think, I'll have to have eyes in the back of my head with the runs he makes.
Hutton carrying it forward in bold fashion. Adoma takes over. Here's Shibola. And now Grealish. Well, they showed too much of that to Trippier. Couldn't quite keep it in. So here is the change. It's going to be Vincent Janssen who will make way.
You know, I'm surprised at that. I mean, given the front three, you know, in terms of Son and Sissoko, I mean, he's put a shift in. I think it's a little bit harsher. Maybe that's just what he's going to do. Who's going to play as a centre forward now? I'd suggest it's Hon-Min Son.
Yeah, so Dele Alli now bringing on those instructions. He's been listening intently to his coach as to exactly how Spurs will shape up for the last 30 minutes or so. Getting it straight away from Son. Quick into the groove. Davis for Sissoko. There's Winks. Ali again. Goals this season already for Dele Alli. Already getting more this season than he did in the whole of last.
He was unlucky, you know. Just tries to get Ben Davis in there.
Spurs still dominant in terms of possession of the ball, but Villa, when they've had it, asking one or two questions themselves, more than they did in the first. Here's Agbonlahor. In that corner of the ground where the Villa support is housed, there's a good number of them, hoping that Adoma can find a cross here. He's done well to find a bit of room. Headed away by Carter Vickers.
And there's got to be someone on the move. It's a good ball in, you know, Bacuna or Strola. Don't do enough with it. It's a comfortable header for Carter Vickers. Done well though, Carter Vickers. You know, he's in the right place at the right time there. He's, you know, playing probably unusually for him in the back three, wide of a back three. You know, right side. Coped with it very well.
And here he is, the 19-year-old. Dyer. It'll reach Son, who's looking to burst away from Baker. It's Son, and it's a great save by Johnson. He's not been required at all today, the debutant Villa goalkeeper, but that's a fine save.
Just wonder if he hurt himself here. Lovely little turn. Baker gets too tight. A really good strike right in the top. That's a really good save from Sam Johnson. He was grasping for his leg when he was going right in the top corner. Good hand.
First save he's been forced to make, and he was up to it. You're right, as he landed, he seemed to just clutch the back of his leg as though he'd pulled a muscle in leaping that high.
Yeah, that to me looks like a calf or something.
Will it impact on his decision-making? As this corner comes in, he stays at home. It's flicked away by Baker. He's got a problem as well. He was holding his back earlier. He's holding it now. In comes the return cross, and it's headed wide by Carter Vickers.
Well, that's a brilliant header initially, I've got to say, from Baker. If he is struggling with his back, he makes a monumental effort just to get watch this ahead of Alderweireld. It's a great leap just to flick away. It looks like his back's in spasm there. And Carter Vickers throws himself at it. Maybe should do better.
It's certainly been a slow burner, this one, but signs now that it's beginning to boil up. Baker's got a problem here, and they'll be desperate to keep him on the pitch, Ian.
Just seen that say, he says his muscle went into spasm here. I mean, you see the header as he jumps, stretching as hard as he can, just reaches it, lands there, sort of jars it. But he's done well today, Baker. I mean, Steve Bruce has been impressed with him, and he knows a thing or two about being a centre half.
spent all of last season on loan with Bristol City, so he missed completely the horrendous relegation from the Premier League, so he's not scarred by that. And he's looked a pretty solid presence alongside James Chester so far today. Steve Bruce and Colin Calderwood, both of course centre-halves in their time. Calderwood, another ex-Spurs man. You'll know that if Baker has to come off, Tommy Elphick is a ready-made replacement from the bench. Don't really want to be making changes in that position, though, do you?
No, you don't. They've done very well. I mean, you know, the sheer slog of the Championship will mean that Steve doesn't really want to replay. You know, 46 game grind, so he knows last thing he needs another game in there. But you know, they'll be delighted to get a full house at Villa Park, good revenue. Maybe that maybe ups a bid for him in the January window for someone. You know, if the finances are a little bit tight, suggest they may well be, given what he spent in the summer and the fact that Kusted's gone.
Performances like this and maybe the result that they might get at the end of it can be a turning point.
Absolutely. I mean, they've looked very effective defensively, there's no doubt about it. Everyone's done their job. Discipline from the two wide men, particularly in Adoma and Bakun, has been very good. Now going forward, they haven't had a lot of quality, although Adoma put the brilliant ball in seconds ago. Haven't seen a lot of this man, which in terms of on the ball, one really good set piece delivery, and he's had very little to go with.
Grealish looking for Hutton, who's getting forward from right back, and Chester was in there. Agbonlahor, vital block by Alderweireld.
Well, we talked about the set piece before. It's the same set piece, it's just the ping out wide. He goes late, and this time it's not tracked by Davis. Good header. Until this is an opportunity. Really good block by Alderweireld. Otherwise, I think Villa go in the lead. Well defended initially by Carter Vickers. Look, it just rolls to brilliant block by Alderweireld.
Here's the corner, headed away near post by Trippier. Back out for Grealish. Blocked by Trippier this time. It's Adoma. Grealish. Villa asking the questions at the moment. Shibola. Adoma against Son. Crosses deep. Up goes Chester again. It's going to be a goal kick. It's Agbonlahor must have thought, as he made contact with that, that he'd put Villa in front.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's really good defending there by Carter Vickers. And then Alderweireld doesn't give it up. He's on the move. Brilliant from blocking Agbonlahor. And Steve Bruce knows how close he was to getting that, all right, unlikely lead. But you know, they've hung in the game. And possibly they've had the better chance than Spurs have had.
Oh, a misfortunate slip by Hutton. It's Sissoko now for Spurs. Davis to his left-hand side.
Now, I mean, that gets an ooh from everyone in the crowd. But I mean, my view is, if he looks in there and he drives that, there's no one in there. I mean, Dele Alli's the one for the cutback. I mean, it's a bit fortunate here. I mean, so he hits it well, but he's looking up. There's no one in there. No one can get on the end of that.
End to end at the moment. Agbonlahor. Good use of the ball. Shibola. First touch let him down, but he's come through that challenge. Stopped in the end by Carter Vickers. Well, if it's been cagey from Aston Villa up until now, I think the shackles have come off. They sense they can win this game now. Dele Alli got away from Chester. They have managed that so far this afternoon. Into the path of Winks. Took a deflection, and Johnston with the save again.
See that brilliant play from Dele Alli, but watch when he gives the ball. Watch what Dele Alli does. He doesn't give up. He's still thinking. Look, he's on the move. There's a little, hits the bar and pops down. Not a bad hit. Decent block by Marvin. It's a comfortable enough save from Sam Johnson.
Last time they met in the Cup, these two, it was the year after Spurs last won it in '91. Villa won it by 1-0. Dwight York was their goal scorer. Villa looking now as though they might fancy themselves again to nick it 1-0. Trippier. Carter Vickers.
Yeah, game's livened up a bit.
Grealish takes a tumble.
I'm not sure that's a foul. Just throws the foot. He can't believe it, can't he? Because neither can I.
Another change for Tottenham. Toby Alderweireld with that magnificent last-ditch challenge prevented Villa from going in front, and he makes way, and on comes Georges Kevin Nkoudou, the French under-21 international.
Well, they could either go to a flat back four, or Dyer can just drop into that role. But you just see what happens. I mean, again, it just shows you the importance of Alderweireld. It's definitely a rest case for him. You know, why would you change other than that?
Grealish taking on form. He's that kind of player. He does back himself. He's full of confidence. When it goes wrong, it looks ridiculous.
Well, that looks ridiculous. I mean, I understand the confidence, but I mean, does he really feel think he can score from here? I mean,
Dyer.
yeah, looks like it's a flat back four now.
Davis. Dele Alli with a dummy, getting it back from Son. But I have to be careful when he's in the box. It's the cross that's whipped in, the header, and it's in from Davis. Spurs have the lead. It's taken them a long, long time to break down Aston Villa's stubborn resistance, but 20 minutes from time, Pochettino's men have scored again at home, and they're in front through Ben Davis.
Well, a little change to win the game, I suppose. He thinks to win the game. Looks like he's going to go straight back to a back three after that, but here we go. Great little piece of, well, it's a good ball in from Nkoudou. It's not a great ball in, I've got to say. It's a really good header. It's not easy for Ben Davis. That is behind him. Good delivery. We can say it's a great change, but it's not the greatest ball, but that is a fantastic header coming backwards. No chance for the keeper. Really lovely glance.
Nkoudou's had an immediate impact, and Ben Davis has his first ever Tottenham goal, and Spurs have the lead.
Yeah, and they've dealt with everything in the box very comfortably, but again it's that run of Dele Alli that sets it up initially, the line breaking runs. Couldn't have worked any better. He gives Alderweireld a break and then they get the lead.
And now a look to completely kill off Villa's challenge with a quick second. Trippier with the corner. Dele Alli was interested, and the free kick given for the challenge on Wimmer. And again, one might suggest it happened in the first half, that if the referee just delayed blowing the whistle for a second, Spurs might have profited from the advantage.
Yeah, it's a little tug on the shirt. Yeah, not a lot in it, I've got to say. Quite soft. This is an opportunity. There's a few looking over it. Nkoudou's going over to see if he wanted a piece of that. Of course, Dyer has history with England.
Brief conversation from Trippier and Dyer. Johnston happy with the wall that he's asked to be put in front of him here.
Do a clever one from a right footer, really a left footer's the way away from the keeper, but unless he goes this side.
It's Dyer, and the wall does its job, and Grealish can get it away in his own time, of course. What kind of response will we see from Aston Villa?
I would think McCormack will be on. Probably not deserved leave, I've got to say. I mean, I think they're fortunate to find some. They've been a bit better second half, Spurs, but so have Villa. in terms of attacking force. Really, it's a bit harsh to be behind, but, you know, Ben Davies popping up in that position is exactly what happens.
Here's Dyer. Well, it turned on the 5 minutes, didn't it? Agbonlahor with that opportunity at one end, brilliantly denied by Alderweireld, who was alive to the situation, and then within 5 minutes at the other end, Davies puts this away.
Yeah, it's a good ball in, but I've got to say, credit should all go to Dyer. I mean, it's behind him, to Davies, brilliantly stretches his neck and just glances, doesn't try to put any pace on it, just directs it right into the bottom corner.
He spent most of the afternoon trying to put in crosses himself, and he finds himself in the box.
He has, and they've gone to that flat back four now, so it's happy just to see it out.
Spurs chasing silverware on three fronts: Premier League, FA Cup and the Europa League again. Sixth season in a row that they'll be involved after the turn of the year. It's a problem here for Trippier.
It's a little bit late, I think, and Marvin's gone over to him. It's interesting you talk about the goal. I mean, we didn't say Ben Davies popping up in the box very much when he was a wing back. All of a sudden they go to a flat back four and he pops in there. It should have been the first scenario that got him in the box. But anyway, it's a brilliant header nonetheless. Didn't see too much there unless he stood on him.
They're ready to bring on at least two substitutes, maybe three, as Steve Bruce goes for broke. Here's the goal scorer, Ben Davies, got a nudge in the back from Shibola. So three through a price of one coming on for Aston Villa. McCormack amongst them. Adoma, he's off. Andre Green, 18 years of age, comes on. Gabriel Van Lahore is going to make way for McCormack maybe. Jednak is replaced by Keenan Davis, another 18-year-old, his first involvement for Aston Villa. So Steve Bruce using the opportunity to blood youth.
They've got quite an impressive academy set up there. Been quite challenging for honours, winning titles in recent years. So
Ross McCormack, who cost £12 million from Fulham in the summer, scored bags of goals for Fulham, 42 in 100 games for them. He's only managed 3 for Aston Villa.
Yeah, it's been a strange move, given the sort of finances they're involved and the money he's being paid. Hasn't really quite worked out.
There's Nkudu, who's cross-led to the goal, checking inside Bakuna. Scuffed by Vaughan, but it will run through favourably here for Spurs, but Son is just offside.
Yeah, it looks like Keenan Davis has gone as the top front man, and then Ross McCormack playing off him.
An awful lot of striker options available to Steve Bruce. Remember, of course, that Jonathan Kodjia is away with Ivory Coast at the Africa Cup of Nations. Jordan Ayew has got a niggle. One of their other youngsters, Russian Hepburn Murphy, another 18-year-old who has been involved in recent weeks, isn't involved today because of a little bit of a contract dispute. As Sissoko breaks through here and looks to settle it, blocked by Johnston, keeps Villa in the game.
Yeah, good position, narrowed the angle very well, Johnson. Just couldn't get his foot round it enough. Sissoko. Lovely little initial touch to take him free of Baker. He is quick when he gets behind. Just this touch can't get him enough of angle. Good block by Johnson.
Dyer is away from Grealish. Just clipped him as he tried to stop his progress. Much busier in the second half, Sam Johnson, but he's displayed already in this second period exactly why Steve Bruce has brought him to Villa from Manchester United. Spent an awful lot of time at Preston over the last 2 seasons, helped them get out of the League One into the Championship with a victory in the playoff final a couple of years ago. Villa, the 7th club he's joined on loan. Here's Umkudu. Manchester United have recently offered him a new contract, so they still clearly see him as a long-term option for them. As Sissoko gets away from Amavi, the cutback, and it's 2-0 and it's on. Game over, Ian.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? Kudu's make a difference. You know, he's cut inside on that right foot. Brilliant switch of play. Then lovely link-up play with Sissoko down this right-hand side. He picks out the perfect pass and comfortable finish for Son. It's a really good switch from Kevin Nkudu initially.
Well, they were struggling to break Villa down throughout the first half, but since Dele Alli and Nkudu have come on, they have found the penetration that was sorely missing in the first half.
Marvin's got to do better there, really. Should block that pass. Here you see it. Lovely little 1-2 here, but then he goes beyond, goes around. That's a really poor attempt. It's through on goal. Great pick out. Comfortable finish. I mean, you know, if you see anyone at Kaiser, that's what he can do. Son, very accomplished finisher of the ball. I mean, it's very harsh, but that's what you do when you commit bodies forward. You try and, on the counter-attack, perfect scenario, really. Rested players and comfortably through.
Job done for Mopo. And Son's 8th goal of the season. And Spurs surely home and dry now.
Like it, Mopar. No, they didn't call that. It's good. It's good.
only his close friends here.
Good. I'm certainly not one of them.
Yes, not impossible now for Aston Villa. Much time to find 1 goal, let alone 2. And of course, this season they found away goals almost impossible to score. Amavi's delivery headed away by Carter Vickers.
I just wonder, you've seen these players being played. Of course, Codger's away on an African Cup of Nations, but you think whether these young lads being on there, he may well go that way, Steve Bruce, if he's thinking, you know, we can't maybe, well, of course they can get the playoffs, only 7, but we haven't worked with all these established names. Let's get some young lads in the team and see how it goes. I think the Villa fans would love that too.
They're not used to being out of the top flight, are they, Aston Villa? It's only the 2nd time since 1975 that they're not in the top flight. Last time they went down, they were down for a season. Graham Taylor brought them back in the late 80s straight away.
It's a massive club. You go to the ground, the whole setup, one of them classic old grounds that's also been revamped internally. You know, and I've seen an awful lot of them last year. Wow, were they poor? I've got to say, you know, whatever happened in the dressing room, I don't know who was the leader of the dressing room or what happened, just wasn't the right atmosphere, and the ground was toxic. So looks like Steve Bruce going in will certainly settle. He'll sort the dressing room out for sure. You know, he's a man's man. He'll expect people to deal with things properly. But my view is I'd go with the kids' way. I think that's very important. Get them involved. Both look good specimens. Green and Keenan Davis up front. You know, if they're good enough, they've been very effective for the youth team. Get them in the side.
Yeah, and they'll certainly have the backing of the supporters, won't they, the youngsters, because any mistakes that they make, fans, if they're one of their own, they tend to be a little bit more forgiving.
Absolutely. You know, you look on the team today, who's been their best player? Probably Baker has been their best player. So good ball.
Call that just offside.
You know, and Steve Bruce will be hoping that man comes up with a few. I mean, he's capable of going on bursts of runs. He needs 10, 15 goals for him between now and the end of the year.
Moussa Sissoko makes way. As he leaves the pitch, he won't have had this reception too often. Almost, not quite, a standing ovation from all sides of the ground. He's worked hard today and was heavily involved in the killer second goal. One of the Spurs, another of the Spurs youngsters, Josh Onama, 19 years of age, is on for the closing stages.
Some suggestion of Onama going on loan, I think, in this window, but clearly don't that will be happening if he's in and around the first team.
Made his Premier League debut against Villa last November. Started in the Premier League or the Champions League this season, given away carelessly there. And Grealish felt he was impeded from behind. Too busy appealing to the referee as play goes on.
I don't think it does. I think it's the same as the other one. He throws himself to the floor. Don't know why he does it. Good work from Keenan Davis, though. Good pressure from the front. They win the ball back high up. Imagine that at Villa Park, pressing from the front. Certainly get the crowd on the edge of their seat. He's done well. Nkudu looks really lively.
And it's Son. And it's Nkudu bursting forward and very close to picking out Onama at the back post. Well, 3-0 will be harsh on Villa. 2-0 is pretty harsh, but they had a chance there to make it 3.
Wow, and there's a change of pace there. Great way to pass from Son. I mean, he has to put it in with a bit of airplay, just a bit too much. Otherwise, Onama's tapping it in.
Here's Dele Alli, blocked by Johnston. Villa looking really stretched at the moment. Baker with the important challenge.
Again, Mamavi that tries to nutmeg Onama, nearly gives away a goal. Dele Alli just trying to fire it across the base. Again, Johnson does well, locking out that front post.
Exciting times at White Hart Lane under Mauricio Pochettino, 3rd in the Premier League, safely through to round 4 of the FA Cup and the Europa League to come, and that is a competition that Pochettino will take seriously.
Well, it's just a competition that Spurs can win. I really believe that. You think about that side, the performance against Chelsea. I mean, it's funny actually, because we're now talking about these sort of things. Actually, the display hasn't been that fluent today, but this is what Spurs can do. They can grind to the victory. I mean, amongst the best defensive sides in the Premier League. Again, another clean sheet today. They are a very effective unit, and he's made 9 changes.
Dele Alli couldn't control it. Been scoring so many goals of late, Tottenham, and whilst not at their most fluent best today, they've found another 2. And looking for a 3rd with Dele Alli. It's away by Bakuna. It's only as far as Davis. And under pressure from Nkudu.
That young man's made a real difference.
Cost a bit of cash, this fella. 11 million from Marseille. Carter Vickers has looked solid at the back. Shows the strength in depth that Spurs possess at the minute.
Yeah, what I liked about Carter Vickers, he knows he's not the most physically intimidating in terms of his height. He uses his body well, blocks people, good pace, and just bumps and disturbs people. That's clever defending in lots of ways. So before the ball comes into the box, you nudge your centre forward, put him off balance. That's good defending.
Grealish away from one. It's held up by Onama. Amavi. Now Green. Clever feet from Grealish. And take it back from Shibola. And there's the free kick off Carter Vickers.
Yeah, better from Grealish. Haven't seen enough of him. That was a lovely little give and go. Carter Vickers now shouting up pass.
Bruce ably assisted again with the help of Stephen Clements, who was with him at Birmingham and Hull City, and of course as a former Tottenham man. His father Ray Clements was here earlier on as well. I'm sure he stayed to watch the game. Ross McCormack over this, he'll fancy it.
Well, he's certainly capable. I've seen score from them many a time for certainly Leeds and, of course, Fulham. And that's right in his range. I mean, for all their resolute defending today, Steve Bruce will be a little bit disappointed in the attacking sense. You know, they haven't really posed a threat for Vorm either. Really. You know, one or two little opportunities. That chance clearly that falls to Bonglaho. He can do no more about it. He hits it well enough. Just a great piece of defending. But outside that, they really haven't done enough. But you wouldn't expect them coming to a side that are on a roll. They've been, and the scoreline's a little bit harsh. Although maybe more than that by the end of it. It's a good spirited comeback in these last few minutes.
Shabola, the free kick conceded.
He's had a sighter, McCormack. Looks like he may be off him now.
Jack Grealish is interested in this one. This is a little bit more centrally positioned.
Grealish or Bakuna, I suggest.
3 minutes of added time to come. Will Grealish win the argument to take it? Plenty of interest here. Amavic, Bakuna, McCormack and Grealish. Will be McCormack again. Straight into the wall this time. 1-2 in claret and blue had turned their backs on the play as it was charged down on Kudu. Winks. Second victory for Tottenham Hotspur over Aston Villa, and their 9th in the last 10 meetings. And will it see them go all the way, as it has done 4 times previously with FA Cup wins over Aston Villa early on? 1892, 1921, 1961 and 1962. After beating Villa, they've gone on to lift the FA Cup. Can't quite believe that it's 26 years since they last did it here.
No, it's quite incredible. I mean, you know, when you're looking at the tie overall, it's a really tough draw for Villa. You know, could Villa go on and win it? Not, I suggest, with the side they have this year. Can Spurs? Absolutely, without a doubt. Even all the fronts they're fighting on. You know, 9 changes today. That man there, Hovinks, has done well. They've got goals throughout their team.
And looking for a third on Kudu. Trippier just holding his run to the right, because he had to put the brakes on because he was scared of running into an offside position. He wasn't there when Nkudu looked for him.
9 changes, and they kept Nkudu on the bench. You know, so the strength in depth is certainly there. You know, I'm with you. Your friend Mopo is a special manager. You know, no doubt about it. He's really. It's a young, youthful side. There's energy everywhere in the team. There's goals everywhere in the team, and they're defensively incredibly solid. They've arguably got one of the best goalkeepers in the world in Lloris. Probably one of the best goal-scoring midfield players in the world as we stand, in Dele Alli. And a young and up-and-coming top centre-forward, in my opinion, Harry Kane. So lots of good things.
You always talk about the strength of the spine of the team, and just pause on that thought as Spurs come forward here looking for the third goal. It's Son, and saved by Johnston.
Just was a little bit ahead of him, so he couldn't take it first time. That allowed him. It's a lovely little touch there by Onuma. Gets it through, and it's a really good pass, but he's under pressure. He rolled it just a little bit. He can't take it first time, and as a result, Johnson makes the block.
As referee Mike D.
Martin and Ian, thank you very much. Tottenham through to the 4th round. They are in the draw. It is handshakes all around. Steve Bruce will be a little disappointed with his team's performance. The result goes the way of Maurizio Pochettino. Well deserved?
Yeah, yes, it was. Very professional performance. Great to see some of these young players given the opportunity, and they played very, very well against a stubborn Aston Villa team that, as you said, Mario, didn't really take a lot of opportunity going forwards, but Carter was excellent, I thought.
They did the job. They did the job. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, especially looking back at Chelsea, we talked about it before. You have to win this game just to keep the momentum going. The team needs to keep the morale going. And, you know, Villa wanted to stay in the game, but when the goal came, it was all...
It was like us, very professional, did our job done. Back on to the next one.
Tottenham remain undefeated at home this campaign, and another fantastic performance from Spurs. We'll wrap up all of today's action when we return.